Boys, today we have our first video on the BDG betting channel. I'm doing this one alone. It is going to be an NBA video, and I am so excited to get this thing rolling, putting out a ton of bets for you, getting Tony in some videos, getting JMO in some videos. Me and JMO have a little video cooking up for next week that I'm really excited about. Right now, we're going to do videos every Monday, so we're going to be having that. So make sure you subscribe down below for betting videos every Monday. We're going to go live 3 times a week, whether it's NBA, if it's Tony for MLB. When the NFL season rolls around, we're going to have those props going on. We're going to be very active on this channel, very active, and I'm very excited for it. So if you're excited, make sure to go subscribe, leave a comment down below. If there's anything you want to see, make sure to let me know that too. I'm more than happy to hear suggestions and hear what other people have to say about the content and feedback, because I'm very new to this. This is like the same thing that JMO did when he did his rankings for the first time. He was very new to it. I'm very new to it. So any suggestions that could help, I will take very graciously and be thankful for it. And you can be as harsh as you want. I don't care, whatever. But we're getting straight into it. I'm doing NBA futures. So you're like, well, the NBA is almost done. How is it future? I'm doing a lot of the final breakdowns. So what are the odds for the finals today? As of Sunday, May 12th, Mother's Day. Say hi to your mothers. We have the odds, and I'll put them on the screen for you. The NBA championship odds, the Celtics are obviously in the lead, and we're going to go down and we're going to break down every team and where I think the best value is here. We're going to really take a look at what we can capitalize on, what we think the best money value is, and how we can really, obviously it's all predictions, but how can we capitalize and make bank over the next few days and coming weeks here as the NBA comes to a close. I feel like I have a pretty good grip of things. I do NBA content every day. If you want NBA content every day, make sure to go follow our Twitter, BDGEBets down below too. We post stuff every day there, or my own personal stuff obviously as well. With that being said, let's hop straight into the first team we're going to talk about, and we're going to the West. We're going to start with the West side of things, and we're going to go to OKC plus 1,300 odds as they're down 2-1 as of today on May 12th, down 2-1. Their odds feel crazy to me. I really love this team. The reason why we're starting with this team is they're probably my favorite team to bet on right now. Solely off the fact of I get the Mavs had 2 great games, but I think everything went right for them in those 2 games, and I don't know if that's going to happen game in and game out to where they see Luka being able to grab 15 rebounds in one game, them coming back from down 9, down 10. Now I get like Denver did it against the Lakers 4 times straight, but this team isn't really built like Denver. PJ Washington going off, having elite games, some of the best games in his career in this playoff series. Do I see that continuing over probably a 6-7 game span with how this series is going? It's hard to tell. Obviously OKC is young. That's going to be the big thing. They're inexperienced. They're not going to be able, but the Mavs team I feel like is almost in the same spot, like outside of Kyrie. You look at the team, Daniel Gafford hasn't been here. PJ Washington hasn't been here. Tim Hardaway Jr., I mean, you look at it, he probably really hasn't been here. Luka been in the playoffs a few times, but nothing really deep. And Kyrie's really the only one with true experience here. So I'm looking at both teams, and I'm like, they're both inexperienced. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs in this game. Getting one away for the Mavs, massive. That is absolutely massive to the series. My question really is, Luka's leg going to be able to survive the series? Don't really know. And that's the question I have. And we're going to get into the Mavs later on their stuff and what I really think about them and as a team and how they're going to be structured over the next few games or so. OKC's running right now a very tight lineup, but they're letting the bench players play a little bit longer minutes than most other teams. Again, you look at teams like the Knicks in the East, even the Pacers, all that sort of stuff. Like Jalen Williams off the bench, not the Jalen Williams starter. There's 2 different Jalen's, Jay with a Y, Jay without. Jalen Williams with a Y is playing a little bit longer minutes than you would say some other teams, and I don't mind it. He's a good player, but my problem is I think that could be part of the reason why they're losing games is they're not keeping J-Dub in. They're not keeping SGA in for the over 40 mark. They did last game, and they almost came out with it, but again, fall a little bit short. Those few key minutes, and I get J-Dub went down with an injury, all that. I get that, and we'll see how this turns out for the future, but getting them at 1,300 feels like an absolute steal right now. I would do this 10 out of 10 times, get a little sprinkle on it. I think OKC really can make a run, and that's going to pair with my MVP down the road, where we're going to get to at the end of this video. The matchups they have against Minnesota and Denver can be really spicy. The reason why I like OKC so much is they run a 5-out spread offense. Chet is on the 3-point line 85% of the time. He's going to be a guy that you have to play out on, and he's going to be the X factor pretty much in what I'm saying. You look at X factors on the team. Every team needs to have an X factor to make a finals run. You look at the Bulls, it was Scottie Pippen back in the day. You look at Kyrie as LeBron's Cavs. There's always an X factor guy that comes on that has to be that second guy that you can rely on. Obviously, we can talk about J-Dub being that, but I think Chet is the low-key guy that really has to shoot well, and when in the games he does shoot well, they win. When he has over 6 field goal attempts and makes 2 of them, they win every single game. They did it against the Pelicans. They've won the game 1 against the Mavs when he did it. This is the key to success, is Chet Holmgren being able to shoot and spread and pull that center out to get SGA in his one-on-ones, to get J-Dub in his one-on-ones, to have backdoor cutters constantly. When you can pull Rudy Gobert out to the three-point line if they advance, if you can pull Nikola Jokic out to the three-point line, that is where you need to be. Or they don't come out of the way, Chet pulls it, green, cash. That's 3 points. That's going to really be what this OKC team falls back on, is the three-point shot at the end of the day from the big men. How well can that translate? Can he play the big minutes and keep stepping up against a Jokic, against a Gobert, against a Cat? That's going to be the question, but I do like the value. I think if anyone can make a miracle run, it is OKC in that 1,300 value. We're going to move on to the Mavs now because I don't want to keep rambling. The Mavs at plus 800. They're up 2-1. This is a team I don't like. I don't like their value being a plus 800. I would almost switch them with OKC and where they're at with a 1,300 if I were to take that value. Kyrie has to perform for this team to win. Can he do it on a consistent basis? Can Luka, if Luka can survive 8 more games, say they win out this series, that's 2 games they need to win, and then they need to win 4 more, and then they need to win 4 more. And Luka right now in every fourth quarter, like you go back and you watch the games, every single fourth quarter, he is hobbling on that leg. Cannot move properly. I'll put overlay film on this video so just so you can see he is struggling to play in this fourth quarter. Scored 16 points in the first quarter of game 2. Could not score pretty much the rest of the game. Ended with 29 points. All of that came really in this first and second quarter. Third quarter and the fourth quarter he scored maybe 2, maybe 3. But he's looking to dish, looking to rebound because he just can't get up and down the court as fast. It's a concern. It says it's a knee sprain. It doesn't feel like a knee sprain. It feels like it has something to do with the MCL. Now, I'm no doctor, but when you're looking at him grab his knee constantly throughout the game, you look at the end of last game, he had a few hard falls, grabbing that knee, wincing in pain. It's hard for me to believe that a superstar can like just drug it out for the last, and I'm not saying that as like a pun, like I'm saying like he's going to drug it out of he has to take a lot of Advil, a lot of ibuprofen to try to get this one rolling. I don't know if he can do it. I don't love the value at plus 800. I don't think the Mavs can make the run. Sorry, Mavs fans. I'm a Hornets fan, so I have no part in this. I don't have a team going forward. So for me, this is very unbiased opinions but I just don't think the Mavs really have that big of a shot. When you look at Minnesota, plus 400 value, love that. I get it's lower, but this Minnesota team, dude, there is something about him. There's something about Anthony Edwards that you just cannot deny. He's looking like the next MJ, whatever people want to say. I don't really agree with that entirely. I don't really like those comparisons, but I think he's really coming to his own as a player. I get he had a bad game 3. Listen, I understand. He said he didn't have juice, but realistically, he just didn't have a good game. He didn't get to the foul line, which is something that's instrumental to his game, is getting to the line. He had 0 free throw attempts in that game. Not only that, but Denver just shot the lights out. 53% as a team, and as starters, they shot 53% from 3. 48% as a team from 3. That's not going to happen again. People are like, oh, Denver might be able to make a comeback. I really don't think so. Denver is a lights-out defense, and they were strangling Jamal Murray for the entire game in Game 2, and I think it's going to be something similar here on out. Again, we'll find out by the end of today what Game 4 looks like. Obviously, I'm recording this earlier pregame, so I don't know. But if it's anything like it was before, anything like Game 1, Game 2, it is going to be very, very tough for this Denver team. They're going to have to rely on the backs of Jokic, and MPJ is the guy that really needs to step up. He's been 20-plus points a game for almost all the playoffs, and he's going to have to continue that today. And we're going to see how it works out for the rest of the series. I think really realistically, Minnesota's probably going to go up 3-1 today, and the series might be looking damn near over by the time this video comes out. I like Minnesota. I like their odds going forward. You look at their matchups down the road. Mavs and OKC, they match up pretty well. It depends on Gobert, again, if they play OKC. How well can he match up on the perimeter? Obviously, Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. He makes people make bad passes. He's a threat in the passing lanes. We're going to see that all come into fruition, see how he really does. Obviously, he's going to be a menace on the boards if he plays OKC's. They give up a ton of rebounds. That's a line to look at if you're looking at player props. But again, I really like Minnesota in this one at the plus 400 value. I think there's, and we'll get into MVPs later, but there is a lot of value on the board in the Minnesota front, and I think they really can make a run. And I think everyone's starting to get on board with it, so you got to capitalize now before they go to plus 100, plus 200. If they win tonight, and again, I know I'm making this later, so the odds are going to change, but if they move up to even plus 200, it gets a little more shaky now. But I think they might if they win tonight, so we'll see what happens there. Denver plus 700. I don't know how to feel. Jamal Murray last game came out, shot the lights out. taking fadeaway jumpers from the mid-range, being able to hit almost everything. Can he do that? Again, calf strain, injury. Another guy that, like Luka, you can see wincing in pain. You can see struggling to get off. When he gets trapped by this Minnesota defense like he did in Game 2, Game 1, he was not able to do anything. He's not driving to the basket. You look at the game last game. It was very rare this man went to the rack because he's not getting free throws, one, and he doesn't want to get fouled hard. He doesn't want to have to go up and explode off of that calf. It's very clear what his game is right now. He's trying to attack that mid-range area, taking open threes when he has them from Jokic. But it really worries me of how well they can win if he's not fully healthy, fully involved in the offense. If MPJ has a bad game, he is yet, outside of one game this entire playoffs, to have he has not yet had multiple bad games, is what I'm saying. If he has multiple bad games, that concerns me a lot. Is he going to be able to keep performing, shooting 50%? He shot over 50% from the field this entire playoffs. He has shot over 45% from three this entire playoffs. Those are numbers that are very, very hard to hold for anyone in the league, let alone MPJ, who chucks contested threes more times than not. The value might be tough for me. There. Don't love Denver this year, but again, they're Denver, so it's really hard to bet against them. For me, they're a fade. They're just, don't touch them. Don't like these odds. Don't like the MVP odds. I'm not staying on Denver. I'm not betting on Denver. No money lines on Denver. Yeah, I just don't know how to feel about this team. It's a scary bet for me. Heading to the East, Celtics. Team I don't like. Why? Don't know. Don't like them. I don't have a good feeling about them. I don't know how they're going to do against really good competition. Right now, the East is weak. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows there's no competition for the Celtics in the East. They're a super team right now. Jason Tatum. I'm going to get on the Jason Tatum tangent probably. At some point or another, it was due. This man is below average for a superstar. Again, for a superstar, not below average in the league. He's underperforming. He is not being the guy that goes and gets buckets when they need him. That's been Jaylen Brown. He's not the guy that comes out and shoots 50%. He is shooting, and I'm going to repeat this, shooting 26%. 26 from three in the playoffs so far. I get two hard defensive matchups versus the Cavs and Miami. I get it. I hear the narratives. Whatever. He's shooting 41% from the field. If I told you that was like LeBron James, if I told you that was literally Luka, if I told you that was Jokic, any other superstar in the series, 20% from three, 40% from the field, only one 30-point game, only one 40-point game on the season. Is he really the superstar that's going to take him to the next level? Should his MVP odds be this low? Man, I don't love it. I get there. They have a great team around him. He doesn't need to be the superstar. I understand all of it. But if he can't come into the clutch, if he can't perform in Game 6, Game 5 versus Denver, OKC, Minnesota, where the defense is better, where the superstars are better. Right now he's playing a Cavs team that just has Donovan Mitchell. Darius Garland is the most inconsistent guard in the league, and I will say that time and time again. Brother will either come in and have 10 and 3 off 8 potential assists and shoot 20%, or he'll come in and have 18 to 20 points, 7 assists, 2 steals, and be the best guard ever. And it's just you don't know what you're getting. Evan Mobley's played great, but Jared Allen's out. This team's beat up. I think the Cavs are kind of washed. And we'll get into the Cavs later. Stop pushing me to the Cavs. But, they're not playing good comp right now. The Celtics played a beat-up Miami team with no Jimmy Butler. They're playing a beat-up Cavs team with only Donovan Mitchell, and they still lost the game to both of those teams. How well can they match up against the West? How well they can match up against really elite defenses? I don't know. I think if they play Minnesota, they are chalked. This team, dude, it's tough. You're going to need Drew Holiday to step up and be one of your guys. And I get he can do that. I get he's done it in the past. Can he do it again? Can he be that guy again this year? He hasn't really showed it. Is Derek White going to be the guy to show up? His MVP odds are pretty high, and we'll get into that. It's tough for me to really ruin this. Getting this at minus 130 right now, I hate it. Despise it. This is my least favorite value. I'm not on the Celtics. I don't have the Celtics winning at all. I think they are chalked pretty much no matter who they play in the West. If they make it to the finals, because this team coming up, plus 1,900. New York Knicks. They're scary. They are scary. And I'm not a Knicks fan. I live in New York now. Still don't even like them. Went to 2 games this year. Still not really a big fan. I just took dates there. Great date spot. Need a basketball game. Go to a Knicks game. Sure, why not? Have a beer, sit down, have some fun, watch a game. Plus 1,900 is the value. They're up 2-1 to the Pacers right now. Pacers are a low-key sneaky team, but again, we'll get into them in a little bit. Not really looking too hot for them. I love the Knicks, though. If they can stay healthy, that's the big question. Right now, Jalen Brunson had his little injury. Looks to be fine. I don't think he's in a problem. But the problem is OG Anunoby has a hamstring injury. And as we all know, hamstring injuries are the last thing we want to see, especially in the playoff run, especially when things matter the most, especially when the times get tough. You need your defensive guy out there. You need your 1A on defense, and he's not there. That could hurt you. And you've seen it last game. Pacers come out. Tyrese Halliburton hucking, dropping 30. Back-to-back games. It's tough when OG's out. You lose those rebounds. You lose a guy that can guard any player in the league. Is he going to be back by the end of next series? Maybe. He might even be back by this series. Highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. Again, no doctor, but I've had my fair share of torn hamstrings and hamstring injuries. I've had 2 of them, and they are not easy to come back from, especially when you're playing 48 minutes a night, 43 minutes a night. Josh Hart right now is averaging 46 minutes a night in the playoffs. They are going to get run to the ground, but if they can stay healthy, this rotation, this starting 5 is absolutely disgusting. They are scrappy. They get to the ball. Jalen Brunson scores 30, 40 a night. Josh Hart does his thing, grabbing tons of rebounds. The most aggressive player I've seen in this entire playoffs, playing with the most heart I've seen in the playoffs so far. Pun. You know how it is. But yeah. It is one of those situations where you look at this team, you look at the players they have around. Isaiah Hartenstein stepping up. Like, guys are stepping up into these roles to beat the Sixers last game. I get they gave them a game. I get that. But they're going to do that when you're running 48 minutes a night. They're going to be exhausted. But I think they can be the best bet against the Celtics next round and really give them a tough time. I think that series could go to 6 or 7. Again, maybe it's just because I'm not a Celtics believer. Maybe I just think too highly of Tibbs. And I really don't even think he's that good of a coach, but I think what he's done with this team is made it into his perfect team, which has allowed them to really excel at the next step of this playoffs. Heading into Indiana, like we were talking about, I'm keeping the Cavs in Indiana very simple. They need a Spida, and they need a Tyrese legacy run if they want to make it out. Tyrese right now on that legacy run. Back-to-back games of 34 points, 10 plus threes in both games. Not only that, but he's assisting as well. Over 15 potential assists in both games so far. Obviously recording 9 in the one. The other one he had 8, but dude is balling. Dude is going out there and having himself a day. I took his over tonight. We'll see what happens. But again, by the time this is out, we'll know what game 4 is. If it's 3-1, obviously we don't love it. Need a legacy, whatever. I think both of these situations, insane odds of 7,000 and 17,000. It is, yeah, it's a lot. And I don't love the odds, obviously. I don't think these guys are really going to do much. But they're fun guys to bet on, riding 100% off the backs of these guys. All right. We're moving on to our final thing. I know I'm yapping a lot. Finals MVP odds. What do we think of the matchups going in? Who do we think is going to win? This is really where I just come in with my straight predictions, and I'm going to give you my pretty much analytics on why I like these guys. Anthony Edwards, plus 490 is my favorite bet. Again, you're seeing the odds on the screen. Jason Tatum should not be this high. Like, he should not be number 1 on this list. Again, for all the reasons I stated before. If anyone wins on the Celtics team, my odds are Jaylen Brown at plus 900. I love it. Jaylen Brown has been the most aggressive player out of the Celtics team, outside of Derek White having a few massive games. Brown, you even see, is just under Shea. Derek White is above Jalen Brunson. Like, it just don't make no damn sense. What it does do is it gives value to the guys like a Jaylen Brown, who I think really can. I think he would win it over Jason Tatum at this point. Right now, the better scorer. He's touching the ball on almost every possession. He's a guy that I really like. Honestly, better defense. He's a scrappy player that I really like watching. I love betting on. I love betting on his props. We just cashed his plus money at 24.5 the other day. He's a guy that I think can really do 25 points a game in the finals, and even go even further than that and be the difference maker. To be the X factor for the Celtics if they end up winning, which I don't love. My favorite one is Ant, plus 490. I think this is the best value. I think this Wolves team, again, with their elite defense, elite suffocating defense, they don't let players get up the court. They trap at half court. Jaden McDaniels is one of the best defenders in the league from a wing standpoint. He can match up on anybody. Having him and then Ant on the 2, Rudy Gobert on the 3, even Cat can hold it down for a little bit. This team is scary. This team, actually is really scary, and I think they're my favorite. With OKC, it's about 50-50 to just win it all. I like OKC's value more, but I think Minnesota's going to end up winning it. Again, they're plus 400. Ant getting at plus 490 to win MVP. You know, if this team is in the finals, he's dropping 30 a game. You just know it. You don't even need to think about it. You just place it. The odds are going to be 30.5. The odds are going to be 29.5, and you just place it. You know what's happening. The Celtics aren't going to stop him. The Knicks aren't going to stop him. Both those teams have given up massive games to all the superstars they played. They even gave up massive games to Tyler Hero, to Bam Adebayo, was dropping over 20 a game. When they play a superstar, the Celtics cannot hold them. Obviously, we know the Knicks getting 30 dropped on them back-to-back, getting Tyrese Maxey dropping on them. Whoever comes out of the East is not going to be able to hold Anthony Edwards. Getting him at 490 is an absolute steal. That feels like a slam dunk 10 out of 10 times. I placed it myself. I placed a whole unit on it. Normally for these type of bets, I don't do that. Normally I do like half a unit, whatever. And I'm not advising you to put a full unit on it, whatever unit size is, but I did because I feel like this is an absolute slam dunk. As if the Timberwolves make it out of this one. Nikola Jokic at plus 800. Obviously, he will win MVP damn near every time if they win the finals. Again, don't really feel like it's happening this year. We'll have a better idea after today. Obviously, when you're seeing this video, you'll have a better idea what's really breaking down there. But again, tough value at plus 800 if with just all the injuries going on. But again, it's Denver, so it's like it's really hard to just bet against them. I'm kind of staying away from it. I just don't know how to feel about Denver. So I'm kind of just out on Denver from a betting perspective. Again, we talked about Jaylen Brown plus 900. SGA, Luka, I'm also staying away from. Luka isn't fucking healthy. If they make it to the finals, Kyrie's winning MVP. And those odds are so low, like so far back. You're probably not going to touch them because the Mavs aren't fucking making it. I'm telling you right now. If you can come back to this video. If the Mavs make the finals, you can come back to this video. Hey, gut, stupid as hell. Don't know ball. And I'll take it. I'll be like, fair enough. But I don't think it's happening. SGA at plus 1,400 though. Love it. I think this can easily happen. Again, OKC, if they stretch the floor like they need to, they play like the defense they need to. Chet balls out in the center, can hold Rudy Gobert, can hold this Denver team if it's Jokic. If they can do that and J-Dub goes off like he should, dude, I love J-Dub. I think he's such an elite player. If those two can have big series and SGA drops his 30 a game that he always does, SGA is winning the MVP. No one else on this team is winning the finals MVP. Shea, in my opinion, should have won the regular MVP, being number one in the West. We're not getting into that today. But, yeah, plus 1,400, I feel like great odds. Obviously, I would not put a unit on this. Obviously, I wouldn't do that. I'd definitely put like 0.25, 0.5, sprinkle it in there. I like OKC enough to definitely bet it on myself. So I'm probably going to put around 0.5 on it. I definitely have a full unit on Edwards. I definitely have 0.5 on Shea. I've sprinkled Brown in 100%. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing so far. And I even put a little touch of Jalen Brunson at plus 1,900. Put a little flavor. If the Knicks get a miracle, they all stay healthy, starting 5 runs, 48 minutes a night, why not? Why not JB? Why not JB? He's dropping 30 a game, 40 a game, 40 a game. His line was set at 38.5 the other night. I get he had a little bit of a tweak. I get that. Not changing anything. He would be MVP 10 out of 10 times unless Josh Hart, for some reason, drops a triple-double a game, which, honestly, who would fuck know? That could happen. We could see that. But even then, I still think JB gets it. He's a superstar on the team. He's a name on the team. 99% of the time, that's what happens. It goes to the biggest name on the team, which is why it's tough for Jaylen Brown to really get it, but I think he's just better than Jason Tatum right now in this time for this team. Again, obviously, if I were to take 1-1, I'd probably take Tatum. But I think for the team right now, Jaylen Brown's doing better. So, again, that's why we're sprinkling it in. And that's the video. What are we at? 26 minutes. This will be cut down for you guys. So you're not hearing me yap 24/7. I'll have timestamps below. I don't think I can actually put the timestamps in the video or link them because we're not big enough yet. So let's get big enough. Again, thank you guys for watching. This is our first video. So make sure you're subscribing down below, turning on the noti bell. We're going to have videos out every week. And when I come back into the office next week, we're going to start cranking out maybe 2 a week, maybe getting a little bit more. We're doing NFL stuff. We're doing MLB stuff. More NBA lives will be coming up on player props during the day. So if you want to be in the live streams, want to be talking with me, want to be talking with Tony, want to be talking with Nick, and figuring out what the best odds are going forward, make sure you stay tuned and make sure you subscribe. Go follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, where we post bets every single day. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Get wild.